Alrighty, we are live. Give me 1 second here. As always, just let me share out this link to a few individuals, and then we will get started this morning. Appreciate you all for tapping in. As always, the first call to Boy Noble Living. All right. Got a few people trickling in now. And you guys know every Friday it's all about sharing some wins. So definitely gonna want to share some wins. We're gonna definitely want to share some wins. We're gonna wait a few minutes, get a few more people inside the room here. Typically I like to play an audio or something. That's been my new thing this year, is kind of been starting off this space with like a motivational audio. But for this morning, we're not gonna get too carried away, but let me just drop a good morning inside the chat so we know who's here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, just play something real quick until we get about 2-3 more people in here.
If you want your life to be successful, you will not let yourself do certain things because you're just no good at them. Once you get that picture down, then you can find the paths wherever the paths are. You're open-minded. The Holy Grail of investing. It's 3 pages long, and it explains basically this important thing, because when that epiphany happened to me and how I would do it, it changed everything. And it's so important for the average person who's listening. And let me explain why that is. Because the average person who's listening, too many people, think that they can go into this very difficult zero-sum game of betting against the consensus and be right. You know what I mean? In other words, investor says, I'm going to go in the markets, I'm going to make money.
Betting against the consensus and be right.
Right, because the consensus is built into the price.
Okay.
Okay? That's what's the, so think of it as like going to a horse race, and there's handicaps. Okay? You're not going to pick the best horse, and you're not going to pick the best company. A terrible company can be a better investment than a terrific company. A terrible company could be a better investment, just like the terrible horse can be a better investment, because the odds that are changing, like you go into that becomes the long shot. But because the long shot is going to pay off 25-1, right? If he comes in, you could just as likely bet on the long shot as the leader, and it's going to be equally likely that you're going to make money, right? Otherwise the market would be doing the opposite. Well, the market is like that, right? In other words, if everybody believes that something's going to be terrific, okay, then everybody's betting on it, and its price is high. So it's not what's best necessarily. It's what's best relative to what's in the price, what's discounted.
I like that. It's not always best, right? But what's best in the price, and then taking it from there. And I love what he said about betting on that horse, right? Because it's about the odds at that time, and that's also very important. Ray Dalio, excellent investor, billionaire, been in the game a long time. He has got a book called Principles by Ray Dalio. It's a great book. You should check it out. So I appreciate everyone for tapping in this morning. The first call, as always, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitter Spaces on Monday, Wednesday, and then here on YouTube Live, 6 a.m. every Friday. Super appreciative of this community and this group that we've been building, and I've been working on this month kind of rolling out a new theme and something that we were going to be discussing and talking about, right? And for me, this month I really love the topic of kind of getting the year started off with some foundational and fundamental money tips, right? And we're going to be reading The Psychology of Money. You guys know here in First Call, we always like to do a book or two every few months or so. So this way we can kind of just always refresh our learning and stay sharp and stay targeted. And reading The Psychology of Money, so I highly encourage you to grab that book if you're part of the community. I'm not 100% sure when we're going to start it just yet. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. But you know, Amazon 2 days, right? So you can get it pretty quickly. So definitely cop that book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Excellent book, and we're going to read that as we're also developing and learning about fundamental and money skills. On Wednesday, I was talking about the importance of building an offer, and in terms of having an offer and what that does, not only as a business owner, not only as an entrepreneur, but also somebody who's trying to seek self-improvement, because everything in life is about an offer. Everything is about give and take. Everything is about buy and sell. Everything's a transaction, believe it or not, right? And the offer you don't make is the offer that they can't take. So as you are trying to build wealth, as you're trying to make more money, you always have an offer, whether it's like, hey, I have a business, do you want to buy my goods and services? Or hey, I'm working at this job and I'm trying to get a promotion. What do I need to do for this promotion? Or why you should hire me, why you should promote me? That's an offer, right? When you're trying to date somebody, why should you marry me? Why should I be with you? Why should I spend the rest of my life with you? That's an offer, right? So a lot of things, a lot of the core components of our life, believe it or not, are centered around offers. So it's very important that as we're trying to make more money, that we understand the importance of money. Good morning, Felicia. And also, we understand the importance of offers, but then we also understand how to create offers, how we now can send offers off into the marketplace to get the things that we desire and to get the things that we want, because offers are the way of getting the things that we want. We tailor the offer to the things that we want, and then we just convince the person or convince, whatever it is that we're trying to, sell the offer to get or to purchase or to obtain whatever it is that we're offering to them. So that's a very important skill set. But today or earlier this week, I spent a lot of time reading blog posts and stuff, just always trying to catch up and refresh my memory, or just different ways that people are doing different strategies and things to get to the same goal, right? That's one reason why I love Medium. I love Twitter, because you have so many different stock analysts and budget analysts and financial gurus, whatever the case may be. And while some people could feel like we have a lot of people in the marketplace who are talking about similar things, which is true, but I also believe it's great because you get different perspective, you get different insight, you get different ways to basically skin the same cat, rather than hearing the same people give you the same principles, the same tactics over and over again. I always believe in finding a mentor, finding one or two people to listen to, but also at the same time, it's always good to see how other people reach their levels of success. So I was reading this one blog post, and they were talking about the cheat code to building wealth in a 4-step process. And I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Let me read what are some of the things that he was mentioning and what he was talking about as the 4 building steps to building wealth. And I actually agreed with these steps, so I want to share them with you guys today, because it's a fast way for you to speed up the process to getting wealthy. It's a fast way to add more tools to your tool belt, so now you can make more money. And that's our goal, right? Most of us are here for some reason, not only to be better, not only to have to be stronger and accomplish more goals and to really better ourselves, but we're also trying to look to make more income as well. And that's again why I wanted to focus on income and wealth generating habits and principles and tactics this month. And that's why we're reading The Psychology of Money, because that book tells you how to think about money, and then also how to change your mindset as an investor, so now you can always position yourself to become rich at some point. And I'm going to break down the 10 roads to riches probably next week, so make sure you guys are tapping in for that one. So when we think about what could be a 4-step process, right, into building wealth, you probably are like, okay, Noble, what? It might be, you're probably just going to tell me to invest, save, invest, and reinvest, right? Something like that. Well, kind of, but also at the same time, it doesn't have to, there's also a different way to think about it, right? And also, guys, understand this one thing, that building wealth is only limited by our mindset, right? There's no shortage of money out here. There's no shortage of potential to get rich. The access to the information is out there. The challenge is that many of us, we're making it more complex, right? Which is something that humans do in general. But in in the core, if we break it down to its core and to its center, building wealth or building extra income for yourself is not as hard as we make it seem. It just requires some certain habits, some certain mental shifts, and just really intention, right? There's intentionality behind all our goals. There's intentionality behind all the things that we want to do. So it's important that we take that same mindset and we apply it here when we're inside of our investing journey. So the first thing that you got to do in the step 1 of the 4-step building wealth formula, making more money into creating this wealth, is create a high income. Okay, now you're probably like, okay, yeah, no, well, that's the skill, that's the key. You got to make more money. Yes, you do, right? $30,000 a year is not cutting it anymore. $7.50 or whatever the federal minimum wage is, we know nobody can live off of that anymore. And look at this. What's the biggest thing we're battling in the economy right now? Inflation, right? And what is inflation? What all is inflation? It's the reduction of the value of money over time. So because of that, we have to understand that in order to keep up with the fact that money's constantly being printed and that money is literally going down in value every day, every year, what do we have to do at this point? We have to out earn the decline in value. We have to make more. Our percentage of income needs to increase at a faster rate than the decrease of the value of the dollar, right? It's as simple as that. So for us, right, money is not always the problem. It's about having the skill sets that are going to tie us to high income or to the ability to make more money. Good morning, Moyo. Good morning, Jesse. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all, right? Earning money means get a higher income. But you're probably saying, like, how? Add new skills to your skill stack. And this works in corporate America. This works as an entrepreneur. The more skills that you have, the more things that you would be able to be eligible to do. The more things you are eligible to do, the more you will be compensated for those wide range of skill sets, okay? So if you're not making the money that you want, then it's most likely because you're missing some skills that the marketplace is asking for. But the good things is, getting these skills is not as hard as we make it seem, especially now because there are online courses, there's online education, there's YouTube University, there's LinkedIn. Like, there's so many different ways that we can pick up on these skills. So you're probably wondering, okay, Noble, like, what are some of these skills that I should be obtaining so this way I can make more money? Okay, so I'm gonna throw a few different skills out there to you guys that are high income skills right now in the marketplace. Now, first and foremost, let's separate two things. You've got soft skills and you've got hard skills, right? I think you guys kind of know this, you guys kind of remember this, right? Soft skills, the top 5 soft skills right here, according to LinkedIn Learning, is creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, emotional intelligence. Let me go over those 5 again. Creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, and emotional intelligence. Those are the 5 top soft skills right now that companies are looking for in order to become now a high income earner. Okay, if you have creative juices, if you are a creative individual, that is a valuable skill set and you will get paid for that. Just think about it and really think about think about designers, think about artists, they're creators, right? Think about athletes, they're creators. Like, most of the people that we look up to, or most of the people that we enjoy and we look at their work, whether from a clothing standpoint or whether from a music standpoint, whatever the case may be, a lot of times they're creatives. Even content creators that are making a ton on YouTube or whatever the case may be, they're creatives. So you want to make more? Start being creative, which also means start using your imagination, because using your imagination allows you to become more creative, okay? So now, and thinking outside the box as well. So those are some of the soft skills. Persuasion. You have to be able to talk. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to get other people to see your point of view, right? And there's one hard skill that persuasion works really hand in hand with, and I'm sure you guys can guess it, right? You got collaboration. Companies want to make sure that you can work with individuals nowadays, People, like, partnerships are more valuable and network is more valuable now than individual degrees, than individual letters, and individual skills. I know individuals who are one man bands, one man ships. They don't work good with people, and they've got all these accreditations, they got all these degrees, and they can't get the jobs, or they can't get the incomes that they want, simply because they are not coachable. People can't work with them. People don't, they only want to do things their way. That is not how you make it through. You have to be able to be not only adaptable, but you also have to now be able to collaborate, work with other individuals, right? And these are very important skill sets, soft skill sets that all of us can obtain. Soft skills are simply, you don't need to be a genius, you don't need a degree. All those are simple things that we can work on internally, being more creative, being more adaptable, being more persuasive, collaborating more, being more emotionally intelligent. Like, these are all things that we can be conscious of, that we can work on. But now let's go to some hard skills, right? Some hard skills that you should be able to, that will allow you to earn a higher income. Okay, first one, SEO, right? That's search engine optimization, for my people who don't know what that is. That's SEO, and all that is simply when you type stuff into Google, you know how there's like 50,000 pages at the bottom for search results. Your goal is to get better at helping whatever company you're working for, or whoever's hiring you, whatever clients you're working with, to get to like the first, second, third page. So basically getting more organic view on these profiles, on these pages, so this way people can know you exist, right? That's all SEO is. It's a high income skill set, because guess what? Everybody pays for marketing. Everybody wants to be seen, okay? Another one, blockchain. Think about this way, because we're now in an industry, right, where we know that even though the crypto space has kind of is reversed a little bit over the past year or so, blockchain's here to stay, Web3 is here to stay. How, in which forms, which fashions, and what is it going to grow into? That's still an evolving game. But we do know that it has been growing. Why? Because Bitcoin has gone from 10 cents to as much as 60,000 to now where 20,000, right? Like, we know that people love using the decentralized system of the blockchain. I know I do. I do a lot of work inside of crypto. So guess what? When you identify an industry that's blowing up or that has the potential to go crazy, you learn the skill sets in those industries, the valuable things that you need in that area, and guess what? You are aligning yourself with an industry that's going through the roof. Blockchain, going through the roof. Green energy, and also like that whole renewable energy space, it's going through the roof. In the next 5 to 30 years, it's going to be, the landscape is going to be completely changed. Imagine being on the right side of that as an investor, or also as having those skill sets. Okay, so SEO, blockchain, data science. If you don't know what data science is, it's basically all this data that we're collecting. When you got to opt in on your phone, ask not to track, all that stuff, guess what? That is a science in terms of the people who go through that data and actually tell you what these numbers are used for. That's important skill set. You can learn that, and guess what? You would make a lot of money for that. Video editing. A ton of content creators out here, tons of marketing material out here. Everybody wants video. It's the new way of advertising. If you know how to edit video, you know how to make money, whether for a company, whether for a corporation, or even as a freelancer on Fiverr, on Upwork. That's an easy way. It's an easy skill set that you can literally go from making $20 a video to $50 an hour to $500 an hour. I've literally seen it happen with a few of my friends. You can do it. Video editing, another high income skill. Digital marketing, high income skill. Everybody's on social media. Everybody needs help to build out their digital brands. Sales, you guys have heard me talk about that several times. That's where that soft skill of persuasion comes in. Sales, one of the easiest ways for you guys to get to $1 million, if you're working a 9 to 5, because you probably make your base salary, then you also have a commission on top of that, and the commission, anything that you kill, you get to eat, and that's also a good feeling, because the more you kill, the more you eat. And once you understand how to sell, you have the lifeline of any business, which is how to make money. And you are the most important part of any business. So when you see tech layoffs, when you see all these different things that are happening, right? And all these jobs that are being lost, you know what department is getting cut the least or that's going to be the last one to get cut, it's going to be the sales department. Why? Because sales is what drives the business. So once you understand the skill set of sales, then you will always be in demand. Here are a few more. Coding. Coding has been important in the tech space for a while, and it's only becoming more important. Copywriting. If you like writing, if you like typing, if you like, enjoy, just the skill set of writing, look at copywriting, right? Look at project management. Look at Amazon Web Services Cloud. Look at content marketing. These are all hard skills that you can learn to make you a higher income. So the first step in the 4-step blueprint to building wealth in a very fast amount of time is to earn more money. How do you earn more money? You create a product and services that you promote and you push, or you get higher income skills that you either get other companies to hire you for, or you use that to move up vertically through different companies, or use that for whatever business that you're promoting and working on. I hope this is making sense. And I hope, that when you guys are thinking about some of the things that you're trying to do and some of the skill sets that you're trying to obtain, make it aligned with what you like to do, what you enjoy, but don't overcomplicate this. There are free resources online. There's digital resources online. There's online certifications like Amazon Web Services. You can literally get certified online. It's not that hard. And some of these are just cheap $100, $200, $300 certifications, stuff like that. Require a few hours of studying. You will be fine. And it's worth it because a few hours can literally be the difference between going from $75,000 a year to $110,000, $150,000 a year, not including bonuses, things of that nature. All right. Number 2. After you now have created a higher income skill set for yourself and you're now trying to make more money, the next thing you got to do is lower your expenses, right? I told you guys that I was listening to a Grant Cardone thing that he was doing on Twitter Spaces, and he said when you're going into a recession, which one of the 4 things are you more likely to do? Are you going to increase your assets? Are you going to increase your income? Are you going to reduce your expenses or reduce your liabilities? Because typically, we as individuals, we're going to do one of the 4 when economic times are hard. We're either going to be in a position to where you see real estate has sold off, stock prices have fallen, so you're going to buy some up at a cheaper price. That's increasing your assets. Or you're going to see, you know what, right now I need to be bringing in as much money as possible, so I'm going to pick up another job. I'm going to learn how to trade. I'm going to learn how to sports bet, whatever the case may be. So you're going to increase your income. Or you're going to be like, you know what, times are getting hard. We need to cut back. We need to eat out less. We need to stop spending money on things that aren't necessary. So you're going to reduce your expenses. Or you're going to do things such as pay off your credit card debt, pay off your student loan debt. So this way you're not paying higher interest rates, which is also reducing your liabilities. I'm not saying that one is necessarily better than the other because it's really more aligned for where you are right now and what makes most strategic sense. But I do encourage you to take one increase and one decrease and put them together. So either increasing your income or increasing your assets. Right now, I'm focused on increasing income. So I've been picking up additional gigs. I've been selling more. I've been working more. I've been working on increasing more income. So this way I can move that into increasing more assets. But because I know we're in a recessionary environment, I want to have as much cushion and padding as possible. I'm increasing income. Now, in terms of reduction, I'm reducing expenses. Now, you're probably like, why wouldn't you reduce liabilities? Because, for example, look at student loans. How many people have really been paying off their student loans in the last 3-4 years since Biden has been, deferring them? Not a lot of people, right? So if you haven't been paying them, right, guess what? Not a problem, but just understand that might not be the best play for you in terms of reducing those liabilities. For some other individuals, like, man, that loan is eating away at you. Maybe you've got a very high interest rate on a few credit cards. Maybe that's eating away. It makes sense to reduce liabilities. But at the very least, you need to focus on reducing expenses. Because when you reduce expenses, think about this. You will always have money. There are people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. How do you ever seen like the 30 for 30 broke, or stories, or hear stories about athletes and celebrities who had millions of dollars and they go broke? And you probably wonder, like, why is that? Because they never were able to keep up not only with their increase their income to keep up with their spending habits, but they never valued lowering their expenses. That's what we got to do. We have to lower our expenses, and believe it or not, many of us, the things that we're spending money on a day-to-day basis are really not necessary, or they're alternatives to it. So here's one way that I decided I'm going to reduce my expenses this month. So I told myself for the remainder of the month, if I'm here at the house, unless I'm on the road or something for work, if I'm here at the house, I'm going to try to create all the meals that I'm eating from things that I have in my pantry, in my freezer. Because my freezer is full of a bunch of stuff, and I use some, but I don't use other stuff, and you always go grocery shopping for new stuff. I've got pasta inside the pantry, I've got rice inside the pantry, I've got beans inside the pantry, I've got stuff inside the pantry that I don't even use, oatmeal, cream of wheat, right? But I'm always going out, and every week I go to the grocery store and buy whatever I'm gonna cook for that week. But what happens is stuff accumulate over time. So one way that I'm just reducing expenses is just reducing the amount of money I spend eating out. And that's why in the 90 days of execution, one of the things is recording all expenses. Because when you start getting into the habit of recording all your expenses, you can start seeing where some of your money is going and how much you're spending in certain areas. And when you're trying to really build wealth, you have to understand where a lot of your money is going. Because if you don't pay attention to it, guess what's going to happen? It's going to go away from you. If you don't control it, it's not going to control itself. I promise you. I promise you. So when you're working on higher income skills and you're trying to increase your income, look what you got to do on the other side. The next step is lower your expenses. And I'm not saying don't go on vacations. I'm not saying don't go shopping. Like if you have certain things that are a part of your routine, like getting a haircut or like getting your nails, your lashes done, whatever the case may be, by all means, like make it work, make it happen for you. But also at the same time, you could really look and say, hold on one second, right? Is this expense really all the way necessary? Or is there a way that I can reduce this expense? Is there a way that I can save money on this? And saving money is nothing to be ashamed of. I want people to understand that. Like I've been called frugal for many times, for many years, no matter how much or how little money I've been making, and I don't care. Because I think there's an efficient way for you to utilize income. And that's for you guys to also understand and look at and say, you know what, if I'm trying to get rich, I got to pay the price now so I can pay any price later. So what can you sacrifice in the short term? What are some of the things that you can do, like maybe cooking for yourself? So this way you can spend much less money eating out, because next thing you know, you're running up meals like crazy. Maybe I know some people who struggle not just with eating out a lot, but also using Uber Eats and DoorDash. How much work is it for you to really get back in your car and go pick up something to save an extra $15, $20. Now I understand the importance of saving time. I'm all about saving time, and money saves us time because of convenience. I'm all about that. But we have to make sure the two are in alignment. If you're trying to build wealth, if you're trying to increase your income and keep more in the household, then for step 3, which is step 3 is investing all your extra money, then you can look where you can cut some expenses so you have more to invest. We can never have too much to invest. Understand that. Like we're not at that point yet. Right? I don't know anybody personally who has enough to where they can say I can stop investing. Because I know some people are multimillionaires, and they can't say that I have enough to stop investing because they know it's not true. And the thing is, we invest every single day. Your paycheck, you're getting taxed every single day. So that means that income is coming out of there. So because of that 401k is being invested. That IRA is being invested. So for us, we got to do the same thing with stocks, with real estate, with our skill sets in ourself. We have to invest. So take these high income skill sets that you're developing and learning and pair that with a budget or with a way to lower your expenses and unnecessary spending habits. And then you roll that extra income into investing. And when you have investments that are starting to work for you, now you're now having money that's growing without you even trying. And that's the goal. For us to have money that's reoccurring, money that's constantly growing, stocks that are making us dividends or that are going up in price appreciation, real estate that's generating us income or that's generating us equity, right? Like whatever the case may be, like we gotta be getting to investing in businesses that are cash flowing, investing in ourselves and more skill sets. We have to be investing because you've got higher income now, you've got lower expenses now, so that excuse that I don't have enough is gone. So you've got the extra income. And then you show some delayed gratification instead of buying consumer assets that are going to depreciate, whether it's cars, bags, luxury items, iPhones, whatever the case may be, and you use that to allocate your extra income efficiently in stocks and cash is an asset as well, in real estate, in some cryptocurrencies, whatever. Like you get some exposure to a few different areas, guess what happens? You will be in a beautiful position. I was listening to a gentleman yesterday, and he was telling some TikTok advice about investing advice. And he was like, just buy a little bit of Bitcoin every week, $10, $20. $30. He's like, whatever you have, just buy a little bit every week. And think about that, guys. If you bet $10 on stock market or $10 on Bitcoin, and because the fact that we can buy partial shares, think about what you would have in the course of a year. If you just took $50 that you would spend out on a night out on drinks anyway, it's $50 that you would spend out on gas anyway, or you spend on a subscription, whatever, and you just put that into a market, into a real estate fund, into Bitcoin or Ethereum, into a stock that pays a dividend. What do you think can happen for you literally in a year? You will have a portfolio. In 2 years, you will have a growing portfolio. And then imagine what happens in 5 years, 10 years, when you continually keep these habits up. It's a compound effect. It's literally going to be impossible for you to lose. If you keep investing, you don't stop, you stay consistent, and you allocate your money accordingly. Like you make sure that you diversify your assets, you make sure that you're not going all in certain areas, like you diversify. How can you lose? How can you lose? And then the last level to it, after you've been able to create high income for yourself, you've lowered your expenses, so now you're able to keep this money, and then you keep that this extra money that you're not able to keep, you're investing that. And then once you're investing that, what happens to your profits? You got to pay taxes on it, right? So now, once you understand tax strategies, tax efficiency, at that point you're unstoppable. Understand this one thing. The tax codes were made to benefit entrepreneurs and business owners. That's why it's always important that I tell everybody that you need to have a business, like an LLC. You need to have that because it's a tax haven. It's important. You see how much comes out of your taxes at your job, right? And it's not all because of benefits either. They're going to take some for Medicare, they're going to make some for Social Security, they're going to take some for 401k. Like, before you know it, that $100,000 a year looks real more like 60, right? $70,000 a year. Uncle Sam is getting his, so why aren't you getting yours? You have to understand that the laws of the game that we're playing behind. If you do not understand the capitalistic structure, then you're not going to understand how to make money in this economy. So if you're proud to live in America, or this is where you see yourself for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, then I highly encourage you to understand capitalism, which also means that you understand taxes and how they benefit entrepreneurs and business owners. So we as individuals, right? Think about this. Do you know why so many wealthy individuals get involved in real estate? Not only because it's a wealth appreciating asset, but it's also because it's a tax haven. It's because you can take your profits from somewhere else, from your business or from your capital gains cash from your stock market, and you can roll it into real estate, and you have to pay the taxes eventually. But if you never sell the real estate, you never have to pay the taxes. and you just borrow from that real estate, so it's appreciating in value for you. You're borrowing from the real estate, and you can still leverage the worth of the real estate without ever having to pay the taxes. These are tax strategies. You hear people talking about writing off cars. You talk about people putting cars in their business name or doing different things. There's a reason why they tell you some of this stuff. It's because when you now understand how to avoid paying a certain amount of taxes, which is what billionaires do, which is what multimillionaires are doing, then guess what? You've cracked the code. You've created higher income. You have discipline to where you've lowered your expenses. You've been able to take those extra income. You've been able to resource and allocate it into some more investments for yourself. And from what you're making from your investments and your business, you're rolling it into tax havens. So you now can save on that and keep more for yourself. And you just duplicate this process over and over again. So for each one of us, understand that this process is really simple. You just got to ask yourself, where are you in the process, and how can you get better at learning more of the areas that you're weak in? If you don't know how to get higher income skill sets, I just gave you several industries. I just gave you several ways. Research a few more. Look up the certifications. Apply for the jobs. Look at the things that they're looking for. Boom. Get the higher income skills. Make them more money. If you need to lower your expenses, practice working a budget. Practice writing down your expenses. Give yourself a cash stipend. Only put the amount of money on the debit card or in this checking account that you are going to allow yourself to use. Put certain parameters in place. If you're having a hard time investing, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, they literally have an option that allows you to connect your bank account, and they will do reoccurring deposits into your account. Set that up. Set that up. Cash App has this thing set up where you could just have it sequenced to buy Bitcoin every week if you want to. Set that up. There are no more excuses. And if you don't know enough about the tax laws and the tax codes, get a CPA or follow some people on Instagram, such as like Carter Cofield. That's one of my boys. Tax strategist. He's fire. Follow him, right? Follow other tax strategists. And I promise you, you will know what to do to create the income and the wealth that you're looking to achieve. But there's no personal development without creating more for yourself. And creating more, that means that you have to be wealthier. That means that you have to make more. That means that you have to be more. And I understand that money is not everything. But also at the same time, when you really think about it, the most successful people in the world, not just today, but of all time, typically were wealthy individuals. So unless you've done dedicating your life to just chivalry and charity work, nothing wrong with that. But most times, if you're great at what you do, it is tied to financial compensation that is equivalent to your worth. So for each one of us, I know what I'm worth. I know what you're worth. Do you know what you're worth? Are you willing to make certain sacrifices? Are you willing to delay certain gratifications? Are you willing to study certain things? Are you able to get uncomfortable to learn certain skill sets and certain behaviors to become the person that you want to become? To reach the levels that you want to reach? Are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you willing to invest in education? Are you willing to know and get to learn more about areas that you are weaker in, so this way you can one day become strong? Is that what you're willing to do? Because wealth is a term that we love to throw around. It's a generational wealth. It's a trigger word. It sounds good. But are we really serious about doing some of these things? And that's a question I ask myself all the time. Because I'm like, bro, if you're really serious about building wealth, no, but you can't spend certain money in certain locations and waste it on certain things anymore. Like that time has passed for you, bro. You're too old now, man. Like I remember the days where you used to just go out and just run up, just spend it because you know you can make it right back. Felt good too. But that's not how it's like anymore. Now it's what's my net worth? Now it's how much am I getting in dividend payments? Now it's how can I replace my bills with passive income? Now it's how can I take all this active income and turn it into passive income? How can I get my money to compound? How can I get it to grow? How can I get it to multiply? These are some of the things that we should be asking ourselves. My money is a warrior. It's a soldier, and every day we're going to war. And the only thing that I know in war is that for you to win, you got to kill all the enemies or you got to bring them back, the spoils of war with you. So you got to get some reward from it, whether it's the territory, whether it's the prisoners of war, whether it's the citizens, whatever. But that's what our money has to do. We got to send it out to war, and it has to bring us back prisoners of war. It needs to bring us back more money. It needs to bring us back more spoils, more victories, more land, more. It should be bringing us back something. So if we're looking at some of the things that we want to create and some of the dreams that we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing with our money in order to make this happen? And that's why The Psychology of Money is going to be an amazing book for us to read, because it lets us understand that it starts up here. Once we reframe our mindset up here, then we can do anything with that dollar. We can do anything to accomplish the wealth that we're seeking. And the excuses that we came from a family that this wasn't taught, that doesn't work anymore. The excuses that I didn't know the right path, awesome. I didn't either. I've come from a loving family. My family is amazing. I'm thankful for everything my family's done, but they also did not know how to get certain financial wealth in certain areas. But what they did teach me was how to budget, how not to use debt. Those are things that are valuable as well. But you have to know what's the path that's going to work for you. And again, we're heading into a recession. We are in a recession. The recession is here. And it's only going to get a little bit worse before it gets a little bit better. And you have 4 choices. Increase your assets, increase your income, reduce your liabilities, reduce your expenses. Which 4 of those are you going to be doing first? And that tells you the type of individual that you are. If you're more risk averse, you're probably going to try to reduce first. If you're more of a risk taker, you'll probably try to increase first. That's fine. But when everybody is retreating, you keep pushing forward. And you can reduce liabilities and expenses and that's not retreating. Just keep that in mind. Because you being conscious of your spending habits is not retreating. That's you now, again, taking that extra income that you're saving, or you're positioning yourself strategically to keep moving forward. But that's what we need to be doing. And if you have these 4 steps of building wealth, a simple formula: higher income, higher skills, higher income, lower your expenses, invest the extra, invest it all, invest the extra, and then learn how to become tax efficient, you will be able to make money like this. It'll be a cycle over and over and over again. And at that point, guys, we can do anything and we can create anything. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today on First Call, man. I appreciate you guys sharing and tapping in. If anybody has any wins to share from the week, feel free to shoot a message inside the comments. I'll be here for a minute or 2 longer to share any more wins that anybody has. Love to see you. Good to see you, Luz. I'm glad to see you back. I hope everything with the surgery and everything's been going well in your recovery. And I just think it's important, guys, that this month that we take the beginning of the new year is serious, and not only from creating more new habits and new disciplines and having, taking more action and things of that nature and pursuing certain goals, but I think it's also very important for our spending habits and because we're coming off a holiday season, right? So it's easy that everybody is like, all right, cool. Now you're starting to plan vacations. Now you're looking out for the summer. You're trying to plan out your trips for the year, whatever the case may be. And there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. But also, as we're enjoying life, as we're taking part in the discretionary side of it, we got to make sure that we're also taking part in the growth and the generating side of it. And I believe each and every one of us, we have the tools, we have the resources, we have the principles, and we have the steps to build wealth. The question is, are we going to actually implement it? Are we actually going to do it? Are we going to get uncomfortable and learn the things that we need to learn in order to make this dream a reality? I know that I am. Are you? And if you are, then the process starts today. The process starts now. So don't let another week go by. Don't let another day go by with the delaying or procrastinating on making and creating the habits that will allow us to be financially responsible and ultimately financially and time free. And that's the goal, to have our time, to have our money, and be able to do the both and compound them all at the same time. Appreciate you guys for tapping in again. As always, I'll see you guys Monday morning again, 6 a.m. Twitter Spaces. And I can't wait to continue this conversation. And if you do not have the book, The Psychology of Money, start purchasing that book on Amazon, because we will start it probably maybe late next week or so. And we'll start that first book of the new year together. Not a long book. It's really short, really easy read. So I'm starting off the year light, and we're just going to start continuing to build these financial principles and habits as we also continue to grow our personal development, grow ourselves, and continue to dictate our fate. I appreciate you guys for tapping in as always. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys Monday morning, and then also for Mindset Friday a little bit later today. All right? Later, guys.